We're Anna and Alex, the dietitians behind The Biting Truth. Now, parents often ask us, how can they get their children to eat more vegetables?
While there's no magic formula for getting your kid to eat more veggies, in this video we're going to share some of our top tips when it comes to encouraging picky eaters to boost their veggie intake.
Our first tip is to give your child a little bit more control and independence over what they put on their plate.
Toddlers are looking for independence, and because there's not that much in their lives that they're able to control, often they will turn to food as a means to exert that independence.
So you might find your child has previously been eating really well, but once they then become a toddler, they might start to become a little bit more picky over what they're eating and how much they're going to eat.
One way you might give your toddler more control is to put the protein and carbohydrate components of the meal on their plate and then have a selection of vegetables in the middle of the table where they can serve themselves. You might also like to bring your child to the farmers markets or supermarket with you and get them to pick out a new vegetable that they'd like to try. Our second tip is to lead by example. Children learn by watching others, not by being told what to do. So if you would like your child to eat more veggies, it's so important that they actually see you eating veggies on a regular basis.
So we really encourage you to eat with your child as much as you can. Now, if you can't do that every night, that's fine. But even just say aiming to eat with your child maybe 3 times a week, that's what's going to make a huge difference in the long run.
Our third tip is to try and serve the vegetable in a variety of different ways. So even if your child doesn't like roast potato, try serving it as mashed potato, as you might find that they enjoy eating it in that form.
Explore different ways of serving vegetables. You could serve them raw, mashed, baked, roasted, sliced. You could even try serving vegetables with a dip.
Our fourth tip is to just keep trying. Remember that repeated exposure is incredibly important when it comes to getting your child to eat more veggies.
So it could take your child 15 to 20 times before they actually try a new vegetable. And it might start with them engaging with the vegetable by licking or playing or even just touching it. And then it might take a few more attempts before they actually have a bite or eat the whole thing. But it's important to look at each of these as positive steps.
Our fifth tip is to try and add vegetables to any meals you can. Now, of course, it's really important to continue to offer veggies whole. However, if you do have a particularly picky eater and you're worried that maybe they're not getting enough nutrients, it's a really good idea to add in veggies wherever you can, particularly some of their favorite meals.
Now, there are so many different ways that you can sneak veggies in. You could start with your typical spaghetti bolognese and add in some grated zucchini, some grated carrot, and even some peas. Or look at things like baked muffins and loaves and add in some grated zucchini to these. Or you might even get your child into the kitchen and make something like a smoothie. Add in a handful of spinach or some avocado. These can all work really well, and there are so many different ways that you can do it.
And our final tip is to stop overthinking it and stop talking about it all the time.
We totally get how frustrating it can be as a parent, but arguing with your child every night and trying to force them to eat their vegetables can backfire and may potentially cause a negative relationship with food. So what we'd really encourage you to do is to just offer vegetables as a component of all of their main meals. And this way your child is going to grow up knowing that vegetables are just simply a component of the meal.
So there you have it, 6 tips when it comes to getting your kids to eat more veggies. Now, we really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have any other tips that have worked for you or your family, we'd love you to share them below.